Another act of political violence in America. You're looking at the burned home of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro and his family, which was broken into and set ablaze while the family was asleep last night, just hours after they celebrated the Jewish holiday Passover, 2 nights ago, I'm sorry, hosting guests in the very room you were just looking at, hosting them for the Jewish celebration, the very important holiday. Shapiro has become one of the biggest names in the Democratic Party and is widely considered a potential candidate for president in 2028. The attacker was arrested on charges of arson, terrorism, and attempted murder. Shapiro said that he and his sleeping family were woken up by a police trooper who banged on our door at around 2 a.m. local time and that they were evacuated from the building. He said, "Thank God no one was injured and the fire was extinguished." Speaking to reporters outside the residence, a broken window blackened by the fire visible behind him, Shapiro made a forceful appeal for an end to political violence. Here is some of his statement.
But we do know that this attack was targeted. We don't know the person's specific motive yet, but we do know a few truths. First, this type of violence is not okay. This kind of violence is becoming far too common in our society. And I don't give a damn if it's coming from one particular side or the other, directed at one particular party or another, or one particular person or another. It is not okay. And it has to stop. We have to be better than this. And we have a responsibility to all be better.
Yeah, that was a very powerful statement. And then here's a little bit more where he talked about possible motives.
If this individual was trying to deter me from doing my job as your governor, rest assured I will find a way to work even harder than I was just yesterday for the good people of Pennsylvania. Here's a third truth. If he was trying to terrorize our family, our friends, the Jewish community who joined us for a Passover Seder in that room last night, hear me on this. We celebrated our faith last night proudly, and in a few hours we will celebrate our second Seder of Passover again proudly. No one will deter me or my family or any Pennsylvanian from celebrating their faith openly and proudly.
Yeah, beautiful statement, very powerful. And they indeed did have a beautiful second night of Passover Seder in their home. Terrorist motives be damned. And just a personal note, these are people's families, and that's why political violence must always be just outright condemned. It just so happens that I'm friends with the governor's daughter, and thankfully she and all of them are okay. But you don't think when people are in the news in front of you on television that they are real people with real families and real feelings and real emotions, and of course they are, and we can never lose sight of that. Apparently this attacker, 38-year-old Cody Balmer, was on the property evading police for several minutes on the property before he broke the window and then set the house on fire, according to state police officials. Balmer allegedly made 2 Molotov cocktails from Heineken bottles he had at home and threw them inside the governor's mansion after breaking a window with a hammer, according to court documents. The fire chief described it as surreal to see fires shooting from the governor's residence. He said firefighters had to cut parts of the gates to stretch hose lines inside and took about a half hour to get the fire under control. He added there'd never been a fire drill conducted at the governor's mansion. Luckily, the door from the main dining room was closed at the time of the blaze, keeping the fire from spreading into the living quarters. Had the door not been closed, the Harrisburg fire chief Brian Enterline said Shapiro and his family would no doubt have been at risk. After turning himself in, Balmer allegedly told police he would have attacked Shapiro with the hammer if he had happened upon the governor inside the residence, a document said. Top Republicans gave statements reacting to the attack, with US Attorney General Pam Bondi posting on X that she was, quote, deeply relieved that Governor Shapiro and his family are safe. Vice President J.D. Vance said this incident was, quote, really disgusting violence, and that he hopes, quote, whoever did this is brought swiftly to justice. President Donald Trump However, when asked about the attack Sunday night while returning to Washington aboard Air Force One, said he had just heard about it. Doesn't mean you can't condemn it or send your thoughts, Mr. President, but he had just heard about it. The others heard about it quicker because they're not the president who should be abreast of everything. Then today, during a meeting at the White House with El Salvador's President, Trump was asked if he heard about a possible motive, and here's how he replied.
The attacker was not a fan of Trump, I understand, just from what I read and from what I've been told. The attacker basically wasn't a fan of anybody. It's probably just a whack job. And certainly a thing like that cannot be allowed to happen.
It's about himself once again. The suspect is currently in a hospital getting treatment for a medical event not related to this incident, reminding us that in America, even people who do bad things, even people who admit to their crimes are still treated ethically and with care and given due process, because that is what separates us from them and supposedly from many other nations as well. Just hours before the fire, the Pennsylvania governor posted a picture of his family's Passover Seder on X, writing, "From the Shapiro family Seder table to yours, happy Passover and Chag Pesach Sameach." Really, really scary. Thank God it wasn't much worse.
Yeah. So first of all, I'm tired about the whataboutisms. So as all these things turn political, right? So you say, hey, I hope to God that nobody ever does anything like this to Governor Shapiro. This is crazy, right? And then some people will say, yeah, well, what about the Trump assassination attempts? Yeah, those were also terrible. And then the other side will say, what about the Nancy Pelosi husband attack? They're all terrible. We don't have to say what about back and forth. Let's all sides, left, right. I don't know if it involves anti-Semitism, but certainly if it does, that 100%, we should all be against that. It's not. This was not hard or complicated at all. The thing with Trump is so maddening, man. This is such a layup. Well, this doesn't have to be controversial. My God, if somebody lit Sarah Huckabee Sanders' home on fire, she's the governor of Arkansas, obviously Republican, used to be the spokesperson for Trump, I'd be horrified. Oh my God, she's got kids and she's a human being. This is nuts. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? So if our politics devolve to this, then we're screwed. I mean, that's supposed to be one of the great parts of America, that we battle in the marketplace of ideas. We allow for freedom of speech so that we can debate and argue over anything. But if it spills over to physical violence, we're doomed. So I can't stand this. And I like Governor Shapiro a lot. He was one of my favorite Democrats to replace Biden. If he had replaced Biden, I think he probably would have won. But that's not the direction that it went. But it doesn't matter how much I like him or don't like him. It doesn't matter if he's a Democrat or a Republican or what his point of view on any particular issue is. Totally, utterly unacceptable on all sides, in every form. Stop burning Teslas, whoever the hell was doing that. How does that help? How does that help? Stop burning anything and everything, stop, right? And look, if you say, hey, Cenk, how's that gonna help, right? These guys are crazy. I don't know, maybe they listen to some media, maybe if all of right-wing media and all of left-wing media and mainstream media all said, cut the crap out. Don't ever do violence. Don't ever do it. If you do, you're not one of us. You're a wacko, and you should be shunned in every imaginable way. But yes, unfortunately, sometimes some people on whatever sides go, well, if our guy does it, is it really that bad? So why did Trump pause there on, hey, the governor's house was lit on fire, and when they caught the guy, so there's a guy, right? It's okay, you don't know his motive. So easy to condemn, right? But what if he condemns, but then later he wants to make fun of it like he did with the Pelosi thing and like, oh yeah, well maybe it was his gay lover. Don't do that. Don't, come on guys. Bounds of decency, Jesus Christ. And so I love his attitude. I love that they did the second night of Passover and they did it in the home. That's exactly what you do. You don't do it somewhere else. You don't run. You don't run from any of these fights. You stand your ground and practice your faith and do all the things that you need to do. All right, last thing is that we don't know yet why the guy did it, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because they're unbalanced. They're unfrickin' balanced. So why did the guy attack Pelosi's husband with a hammer? Because he's a loon. He's no sane person attacks anyone with a hammer or tries to burn down their house. So that's what unites them. Shockingly, they didn't use a weapon, so thank God. And of course, what's Trump's reaction? Even after he's had a chance to absorb it, what did he say? Wasn't a fan of Trump? Oh, great, that's the most important thing. Okay, thank God it's not about you. Jesus Christ, man. He has no ability to have empathy, none. It's amazing. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.